Welcome back. It's week 5 of this LS build. I know some of you right now are going, 5 weeks to do an LS build? Well, here's the thing. When you're painting, pulling the motor, doing the harness, doing the fuel system, doing all this stuff, and then you gotta wait on parts on top of it, it takes a while. It's just how it is. And when you're doing them as clean as I do them, you want them looking good, you know. So last week, though, was all basically a suck week. I didn't have the right parts. I was waiting on parts. I'm still waiting on parts. But we're still moving forward. I have to wait on new coils because the truck coils didn't work. Let me flip you around. So these truck coils on these Holley valve cover kit, whatever you want to call them, valve covers, the truck coils don't fit. You have to use either LS1 or 09 and higher truck coils. Now, the 09 truck coils is what I ordered because they use the same plugs, they're pinned the same and everything. Just click right in. Corvettes, you have to rewire them. The fuel system, I haven't started on. We're starting on that today. But the actual intake, I found out I was hooking up wrong, and I had to fix it, and I still have to get a 90 for that. But until I fix like the pedal and stuff, I don't want to put that in there. So that's just waiting in the wings there. I do have to rewire the map sensor because the map sensor on the sheet metal intakes are for 09 and up maps. So I have to rewire, put a different plug on the map. I showed this if you watched last week's video. But we are getting ready to get into some stuff here. We're going to get going. I need to pull the fuel pickup out of here. I need to slide the seat forward, but I got to pull the fuel pickup out of here and try to stuff a fuel pump in through the little pickup hole. I don't know if it's even going to be possible. I did find this on the tank, which is going to be perfect for the return. And it's all going to be right here. I don't know where the line runs, actually, but I will have to pull all this stuff out here in a second. I'm not going to pull the seat or nothing. I'm just going to pull that stuff out. Probably slide the seat forward. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I still have to do. But this fuel pump fitting through that hole right now is my only major concern. Let's see, pick up. Yeah, and of course it's a big pump. Plastic hose, it's got the screen. Fitting that screen, or this screen, through that hole is going to be very interesting. But that's where we're starting today, is on that. But I'm waiting right now, of course, on coils, wires, plugs. I ordered that as a kit, so it's coming. I'm waiting on the right A-end fitting for the fuel filter, because they sent me a 5/16 instead of a 3/8. I am waiting for a 90 for the intake. This one right here, I have a 90 coming for it. I am waiting for, what else did I order? Oh, the temp sensor. I'm waiting on it. I need to put power steering pump on, do the fuel system, trans lines, throttle pedal, wiring, drive shaft. Have the VATs deleted off of the factory ECM. And then I need to figure out where I'm going to mount that. If I'm going to mount it in the cab or if I'm going to mount it outside the cab. Which I want it in the cab, of course. I don't want it out here. It would just look like crap. But I'll have to figure all that out. You know, now that I think about it, I might be able to go right in that hole if I make it a little bit bigger. How big is it? Does it have a grommet on it? Let's go look. Is there a grommet? Yes, there is. Oh, there's a giant grommet on this one. Mine on the Caprice was super small. I mean, you couldn't fit nothing in. It was all the way tight against the hose wiring harness. So that's a good thing. That's a big help, but it also means that's a big hole. But I think if I actually did up here where that one is and made it bigger to fit that, I can still run the single wire from that harness that goes to the temp sensor there and sort of like maneuver it into the new harness to where it looks nice. Not to mention I also have the harness I need to run for the electric fans, which would be nice to run down back, probably over with this wire right here, which goes to the firewall right there, and then up the frame rail to the electric fans. Yeah. I will get like the upper radiator hose and the lower radiator hose local. The new belt. Did I cut the old belt? The old belt is still there. I don't know how bad it is. It's got some rust on it, but there ain't nothing wrong with it. It's not cracked or anything. So yeah, we can still use the old belt. That's a good thing. Heater hoses, again, they're right here. They're the ones that are going to get cut down. They're going to work fine. I think they're both, one's 3/8, one's 5/8, or one's 3/4, one's 5/8. Either way, yeah, you can see one's 3/4, one's 5/8, which is perfect because one's 3/4, one's 5/8. So that'll be easy. Squeeze me. The exhaust, that's not my problem. Shifter linkage is, he ordered a low car shifter, like the rod, so that's going to get replaced. Yeah, I should be able to start busting this out. I'm hopefully by the end of next week, this thing should be done and out of here. So, as that said, I'm going to jump on here, get this fuel system going, pull that thing out of the tank, and yeah, see if the new pump will even fit. Clearly, as you just saw, this big old fuel pump is not going to work in here. I mean, not even close. Look at that. It's not even close. Oh, this is fantastic. Another thing that's going to be screwed up. Well, now what? That's not going to work on that pump at all. There's no way. Alright, well, let's jump on the internet and see what I can fix there. So there's a thing here, okay? There's some things when you try to be cheap, you can't exactly work with, okay? I know what's going to happen. We're going to have to get like an aftermarket fuel pump pickup setup, and I'm going to have to cut a hole in this side of this to drop it in. What's funny is on the camera, that hole looks huge. That hole is probably 1.5 inches. Yeah, so I mean, I could, no, if I hog out that hole, it's still not going to help. It would be pretty much to the bolt holes by the time I was done. Just to get that pump in there, okay? And then when I do get the pump in there, the chances of getting this on there and one of the screens and it not falling off into the tank are going to be slim and none. So, lovely. Well, after seeing that the pump does not work, I was like, yeah, let's pull the tank and I'll do a, I'll grind that hole up. I know I'm going to fill it with water and stuff, let gas out and everything. Owner says, don't do that. He don't want that done because he's afraid it's going to leak vapor into the truck and yada, yada, yada. Anywho, So now I am sort of like poo-pooed here, unless he hates them, but we run a undermount fuel pump, you know, that's wired in under the cab. It's not in tank. The in tank ones keep them cool. They run, seems like they run better. Or we run and we do a different tank. Unfortunately, a different tank setup for an LS is like $500. Not gonna happen. So I don't know. He's coming up with a solution. I'm just sitting here, you know, owning this truck right now. Actually, it's owning me. I'm getting beat by it. Because everything's like beating me. I can't do nothing now. I don't know. I guess I can mount the fuel regulator, which I can. This has got to go under the cab and face this way. Don't have this fitting, so I can't even like mock up hoses. This sucks. Come on, I can't do the wiring because I'm waiting on different sensors. The drive shaft I know is going to have to be cut. I'm at a freaking standstill. I got to find something to do here. I guess I can put this other valve cover on. But, yeah, I can put the power steering pump on. You know, just try to keep moving forward here until we can figure out this pump situation. So here we go, getting stopped by everything again. Fuel pump don't fit. He don't want me to cut it. Can't do nothing with that right now. We're looking for solutions. The external fuel pumps, you know, you wire up and it goes in your line or wherever. He don't like them because he's had them fail left and right on him. So I understand that. Somebody online said that a TPI pump would fit through that hole. But my question is it going to fit through that hole with the fuel mech and everything else on there? Not the mech, but the level, the float level. I don't know. I don't know what PSI a TPI motor's putting out. I'd say it's pretty high. It's port injected. So that's one option I'll look into. At that though, it's still going to be like, you know, still going to have to figure out how to make it work on that, which ain't really a big deal. Some hose clamps and stuff for the filter. Make sure when it's down in the tank, it's close to the bottom. No big deal. Basically, wherever that sock sits is about how close it's going to be. But then you got a wiring bulkhead that you're going to have to not liquid mail, but JB weld in or something on the top. Let me go over there so I can explain this to you. You'll have to run your wires and then like JB weld them through. Not really worried about a return because I can return it to that hole on the side. But yeah, you have to JB weld some wires through. They don't actually, now that I've been looking for this to fix the problem, they don't actually make an EFI tank that goes in the cab. So when you start going for EFI, they automatically send you to a tank that's in the back. One of them, you know, retrofit. Some people don't want them back there. Some people want them in here. Now, they do make a universal fuel pump hanger, which is what I'm looking at now. And what it is it's basically a bigger version of that would go right here. You'd cut another hole, and it'll slide just the pump down. That's it. The other side won't have no pickup or nothing. So, I mean, that's another option. In my opinion, if you can find one that's really, really good, I would get an under the truck pump, because one, you're going to hear that pump a lot in the cab. It's right behind you. unless you like wrap your tank in sound deadener, like Dynamat or something, you're going to hear it a lot. I mean, it's wee all the time. Just imagine, you can turn your key on, you can hear it in, I can hear it in my Blazer all the time. So if that's not an option, then the next option is going to be retrofit a tank or try this TPI pump. I don't know what else. And now I got to try to get this dipstick back in its hole, and it's probably not going to fit either. Because, you know, why would it? Today, nothing fits. Power steering pump is on. Thankfully, it fits, kinda. For this certain setup, this line on here, where it comes over and goes into the pump, it's a bubble flare, and it needed to go into an inverted flare, which is what the line was. Nobody had an adapter, so I used a quick coupler on it. It'll work perfectly fine. You can barely see it. I'm not going to lie to you again. I don't lie to you about nothing. That's where that's going to be. No big deal. Return line, just a clamp. No big deal. It's done. So I'm going to move on to dipstick and probably start working on the pedal at that point. Well, I am trying to stay busy here. What I got is my 2000 model map. And this is my 2009 model map plug, which is what's on the intake now. Because 2000 wouldn't bolt up, wouldn't stay in the hole, so went and got the right one, of course. But these are wired different. And if you look right here, we got orange, what they call light green, that's teal to me, or blue, and gray. Now this one, leave them sitting the same way, is gray, orange, light blue. So basically this just goes over and pushes everything that way. But I gotta hook this to this one. I already got the plugs. But this harness, or this loom on here is kind of small. It's gonna be real tough to fit them all in there. That's why I offset them. Hopefully it will fit. But yeah, and I gotta rewire that for that. And then the map sensor will be done. And what else do I need to do here? There was something else I thought I had to rewire. Maybe not. I do know I have to pull one of them plugs out I put in and add another plug because the PCV valve that's normally over there is actually going to be in line now. I'll have to buy one that goes in the actual hose. I know, it's weird. But sheet metal intake, yeah, sheet metal problems. Fuel pump problems, fuel line problems, wiring problems. This sucks. That's why never going to put one of these on unless it's like an aftermarket harness, like Holly or something. I'll stay with the truck intake or a Trailblazer SS intake. But let me get back to wiring. So I'm not going to be filming much here because, I mean, I'm hooking up hoses. Okay, if you can't hook up a hose, there might be more problem. You might not want to do anything like this. PCV valve I got to put on, no big deal. I need to mount the fuel filter somewhere. I need to hook up them lines first to the actual filter regulator. So hopefully they sent me the right fittings for this. They don't label anything, so I'm going to work on this now, see if I can't find the right fittings. Okay. Yep. See if I can't find the right fittings that they sent. This kit from eBay is not looking good right now. We're going to find out. Okay, so this kit comes with these fittings, these style. These unscrew. After about 20 minutes of unscrewing them. But yeah, they unscrew. They go on your line first. Then you put your fitting on. if it's not too long, which I think in this case it is. But you have to push it on real tight. Anywho, and then you screw it on there, and that locks it on. Now, if you don't have a setup like that, and you have to do hardline, this is from Hot Rod Fuel Hose. This is what I used on my car. This is a compression fitting, AN fitting. So it's just like a regular compression fitting. Gosh, come on now. But yeah, it's got the crush sleeve, screws on, go on any metal hose like that. That's what I did on my car. And it makes it a lot easier if you're just using hardline. You can basically put them on anything. But yeah, there's the two different styles of fittings you have. Now let me get this other side on here and put that back in my drawer so I don't lose it. But yeah. Okay, so I believe that this is the answer to our fuel pump problem. This is a 94 Blazer MFI multi-fuel injection, which is multi-port fuel injected, 4.3 fuel pump. It's skinny, it's slim, it'll fit through the hole. Let's double check, because I know I checked the TBI for a 91 Caprice, which I had, and it was small and tiny, fit through the hole. Yeah, boy. Oh, yeah, it fits, so it should fit for our setup here. But anyway, this is rated at 90 PSI. Okay, stop rolling. It's rated at 90 PSI and 29 gallons per hour. Now, I know somebody right now is going, well, the Walbro's 255 gallons per... Okay, well, that ain't going to matter. Because actually, I looked up the pump, the whole mechanism for a 2000 Silverado, and it is 90 PSI at 27 gallons per hour. So this pump's pushing more gallons per hour than a stock Silverado pump is. And that works perfectly fine for everything. You know, if you just put a cam in a Silverado, fuel pump's fine. So that's basically what we did. We put a cam in a Silverado, even though it's at a, 66 C10. But now I got to lop this off, and I'm probably going to have to make I can probably use the tube I'm getting ready to cut off, but I'm going to solder it. I have some welding solder, what is it, metal working solder, and I'll solder that tube back to the other tube and use it as a clamping point for the pump so it don't move. You know what, now that I think about that, I can't do that, because if I do that, the pump won't fit in the tank then. I might, I can probably cut the tube in half and hammer it down a little bit and then solder it, then it might fit. I don't know. It's getting aggravating now. They soldered this on metalworking solder, focus. Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing for a brace on here somehow. Maybe if I cut it, when I cut it, if I leave a little bit rounded, I can slip it onto the tube and then solder it and then leave like a support piece. It should work. I've got quite a bit of room. This is trying to make things work that were never supposed to work, so yeah, I can get that in there. But yeah, we're just trying to make anything work because they don't make an option for a LS pump, LS tank. I looked it up last night. They do not make one that has the fuel pump like offset. You can add one. You can buy a universal fuel, what is it called, hanger, and put that in there. But in this case, I can't. He don't want it in there. He don't want me to drill another hole. He didn't want me to widen this hole. So this is our option. And I think it'll work just fine. But what really sucks is, they don't give you any of the plugs for this fuel pump. I don't know if I have any over in the mess, but I'm going to look online. Maybe they sell one, and I'll have to run back to O'Reilly's and get it. nothing but running anymore. So I've pre-set up my filter here, and really I wish this was up further, but there's nothing I can do about that. And I'm going to cut it about right here to put this on. And I'll have to try to get it, you know, rotated to where it's close to the swing on the actual fuel level. But it's just, I'm not liking the way this is going. This is a one-way valve in here, so I hope it lifts right. I'll have to test all this, of course, before I do anything. Yeah, but this has got to get cut. That'll be what I'll use to make the support. And I'm just not enjoying this one right now. I'm worried that it's going to fail quickly. I do have to add another ground, which I believe I can ground it to anything on here, or even on here. I can solder it to it, like up here, for the ground, and then I'll just have to have the one power wire coming out, which will be nice. But yeah, cut this now. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out how I can get it in the tank, because this is sort of pretty rigid right here, the filter pickup is, and you know, I gotta go that way, which if I turn this way I can hook the whole thing, which is probably what I need to just do, because it makes it so much easier. So I'm gonna have to hook the whole pump in there, which originally this was what, yeah, that was hooked with it too. So yeah, I just need to turn this filter around and I can hook it in there pretty easily. But yeah, I'm not liking this setup. It'll probably work. I mean, this is a lot of how the older stuff was set up. You know, the beginnings of TBI and stuff. Literally, a fuel pump clamped on a pipe. That was it. And you just had another pipe coming in. It just dumped straight to the tank. No big deal. So, it'll probably work. Again, 94 S10 Blazer MFI 4.3 fuel pump. Okay, so I made the little block off plate for the old throttle pedal. Focus. It's got to go back there. So now I got to shove my fat body over this whole motor and bolt that in. I'm trying to find a harness right now for this plug. It's a 90s or an 80s 90s style GM plug for the fuel pump. The only reason I want to do that instead of just, you know, putting some pin connectors in there and like epoxy in it is so that way if the pump ever goes bad, you can actually replace it. Technically, now I just thought about it, you can't just cut the wires, but you know, I'm trying to get it to look halfway like a good job. I'm sorry, I got hiccups. But let's put this little block off plate on while I dig into my brain and try to figure out what I'm doing here. Yeah, block off plate. Well, I am about officially done as far as what I've got on hand. This is pretty much ready to go. Besides, I had to order the plug and a bulkhead to run the wires through and the return to go in there. So, can't do nothing else on that side. Waiting on the fuel regulator fitting, which is this fitting because they sent me the wrong one. Waiting on it. Won't be here till Friday. The fittings also for the intake to go on there. Won't be here till Friday. So the next thing, only literally real thing I can do next is put the intake on. I can't even start wiring yet. Can I start wiring after I put the intake on? I might be able to start wiring after I put the intake on. So I'm going to put the intake on next. And from that point, I'll figure out if I can start wiring anything. I should be able to. I can put the power steering pump pulley on. Probably put the belt on, put the radiator in, and yeah, trying to keep busy here and not stop. So let's get busy. So after I got the intake on, I just decided to start doing the monotonous stuff like PCVs and stuff like that. Honestly, these sheet metal intakes is the stupidest idea of how to put the brake booster vacuum and stuff under the intake here. How do they expect you to get your hand under there and push that line on? Like, seriously. And I got one in front of it for this PCV, which I have to get a inline PVC PCV. God, I hate that. But yeah, put the power steering pump pulley on. I got them hoses on for the radiator. The steam vent hose is on over here. I've got my throttle cable sitting there. I gotta go get the bracket from the owner. Oh, excuse me. And hopefully he's got the shift linkage in. I'll message him when I'm done here. But I'm getting ready to start working on the throttle pedal. And after that, I need to start working on the trans lines, because those are going to suck. I also need to find out where he wants me to mount, either out here or inside the computer. I still say inside, but I haven't looked to see if there's any room for anything in there yet. So, I don't know. But it's looking good. This way it looks good to me. That way it looks good to him. I prefer more orange than black. Black is about 50-50 right now, really, the amount of orange to black. So, but good luck to whoever has to tune this thing, because this I hear this a nightmare. But I did put a, as I said, 09 map in the back, and I do have the mass airflow. We will have to get a chrome, or not chrome, but a intake for this. I don't know how 102 millimeter to 80 millimeter throttle body, reducer, which I'm going to put it right off, like straight on here, and then turn it. So we'll find out. Alright, so now I need to test fit the aluminum radiator, which is, it looks right, but eBay, you know how it is. So I already put the rubber pads in there. I got the top mount over there. The only thing I do say that I don't like about this is I wish the upper radiator hose was on the driver's side, or the passenger side, and the overflow was facing forward for the steam vent. That's it. Everything else seems fine. It's got an electric fan on it, a giant one. I don't know what the CFM rating is, but it is huge. So, yeah, let's put her on time lapse and see what's up. Well, one good thing, it seems to be a perfect fit on that radiator. eBay came through on that one. I mean, it's completely mounted, which ain't much. It's just this that holds it down. That's it. But it's got a little wiggle in it, but it don't hit nothing when it wiggles. It's still got room. So it's fine. I don't know why it's like cockeyed like that. I don't know if it is cockeyed, if it's just the way it looks. It could be this. I don't know. Who cares? It fits. That's all that matters. This upper radiator hose is going to be a problem. It's going to have to come over, like get as tight as I can to here, and then whoop. And I also need to work on trans lines next. So, well, probably not tonight, but anywho, yeah. it's in there. I need to do the wiring harness for the electric fans. I got to get their pins. Got to figure out which pins they are. Of course, you know, they send you this, but they don't send you the other end that goes into the electric fans. Lovely. So I'll probably just cut that and wire it direct. And by direct, I mean there's be no plug on it. Ain't gonna matter. But it'll kick on whenever it's tuned to kick on. This, I was hoping went to like right here, but it looks like it comes all the way over to here, which will probably be fine. I just wish it was a little bit, well, it'll work. Yeah, it'll probably work, be fine. This was the original overflow. Don't need it now. Unless I put a T in it, which would be dumb. I don't know. I'll have to look on that one. We might need to get an overflow reservoir, like to mount in here or something. And have it run down into it, and then put the steam port one on it too. But yeah, radiator is pretty much installed now. We're getting going here. And what it is this stuff I have, and I can still maneuver around to get it in there, you know. But I'm still waiting on a lot of stuff. Let's look at this bottom radiator hose. Lord, that bottom radiator hose is tight. It needs to be hooked about like a question mark, but in reverse. That's going to be a toughie. Shoo-wee. Yeah. That's going to be very tight. So, belt, upper and lower radiator hose, a lot of hose clamps. And the cooling system will basically be done till we do the trans lines, which are going to be not as hard as I was thinking. I have to find out what size they are. Way down there, dirt ass, tickle, tickle, tickle. But yeah. And then need to run. I wonder how long this is. It looks pretty long. You know, I wonder if, yeah, I have to find out what the pin out is. Put them pins in, run that. Hopefully I can take it. Well, either way isn't going to matter. But yeah, let's get this, let's call it for tonight. We finally got some parts in here. Let me see where I put them. This is my throttle linkage. Ah, there. Hold on. This is my temperature sender. And this is my shift linkage. The throttle, so I should be able to get the throttle and everything done today. This is basically just a, let me show you here. I think that's all that's in that. Yep. This is just a bracket. Sorry, 1 second. Get out of there. Yeah, this is just a bracket. And it goes on the inside here. Comes with new bolts. Bolts on here is adjustable. So you can make your cable tight. Because you want it just as tight as it can get. So we'll have to hook that all up here in a minute. But yes, that's a bracket from eBay. You can see it should clip right in here. Bolts. Oh, actually it got 2 different bolts for it. Okay. So there's this one, which is like a long one and a short one. I think we're just going to need this. Well, it depends. I kind of need it up in the air. But yeah, I kind of need it up here. Like, yeah, if it was like right there, it'd be fantastic. So I'll have to figure out how this bolts up and stuff like that. But anyway, that's here. And this is from Street Rays. This is the shift linkage, which is the same. I think it's a low car linkage. Let me get it out of the box here. I put one like this on my 79 that I was building. Yeah, but here's the difference between this one and the 79, and I think it's a thing I learned on the 79, is do not bend this rod. Keep this rod straight, which their rod you ain't gonna bend. It's good 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, but yeah, it is a low car one. Okay, yeah. So this is definitely going to be a better one than the one I put on, which was like $30 because I'm poor. I build everybody's nice stuff, and I stay with poor stuff, which that might be getting ready to get traded. But yeah, let's get these stuff out of their packages and get them on here so we can get busy. So that's a pretty easy install. I've left a little bit of play in the throttle cable. So that's pretty much that. Now I've just got to actually mount the pedal in the wall, or the firewall, yeah, the wall. And then, whoa, huge bee. Then, yeah, just put the cable through the wall, put the pedal on, throttle's done. Easy schmeezy. Now this throttle or this shift linkage is going to be a tad bit tougher. I'll have to unbolt this linkage, of course, get it all out of there. But where it's a straight shot, I don't know if you can see it. Well, it's kind of not a straight shot. It's very, well, yeah, it should still be fine. It's just over to the right. If you can see down there, focus right here. Yeah. It might be a little tough, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it in there. No big deal. I think the column's actually not all the way up right now either. But one piece at a time here. Let's get this sensor in real quick. Put a D-ring connector on it, and that'll be done. This 3/8 fitting doesn't really exactly want to fit in here, but we'll figure that out too. Alrighty, so I got that sensor in back there. I've got the wiring here, and I sort of figured, you know, hey, while I'm here, I might as well start eliminating that stuff. The one thing I don't know is, do I actually need this ground right here? It is a ground that goes inside. I'm not sure what to, so I sort of need to find out. And again, I'm waiting on other parts to do things like the fuel system, but we're going to keep trying to move forward. I am curious to know what kind of glove. This is one of them foam glove boxes, which sucks because I need to see behind it. And there's not exactly a lot of room. This will all be coming out. Won't be using that. But let me see here. Okay, heat system. I'm just reaching up in here right now. So that's the cowl. Is that wiring plug? I believe it is. Okay. So there's the harness for that. Alright. So yeah, the harness is right here in my hand. And it's going to be a tough way to get that computer mounted in the truck. Which I'd like to mount it somewhere up in here to where it can't be seen. So I might have to pull this glove box, which it looks like it's just in there with some Phillips screws, and then we'll go from there, because I got to get it out so I can see where I can run my harness in there, if I can hide it in there, and without trying to jack up this glove box or anything. Now there is tubing ran in here. What is that? Wiper motor? Wiper motor. That is the vent. What is that? Hold on. Okay, yeah, that's the cable for the vents on here. So, yeah. I guess this has got to come out, and I can start from that point. Which again, I'm definitely keeping the glove box in this, even though somebody put this stupid skull on there. But I want to try and make sure as much as possible that I can keep it looking factory. Is what he wants. So let's pull this out. Okay, so I pulled the glove box, and I've been 1 second. Had to clean my lens real quick, but this glove box sort of sticks back into this hole a little bit, about this far, and this is your rain gutter. So you really can't mount anything to this because it'll leak. You can't really, well, you could weld to it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Anyway, the computer is so big, even if you did put it on there, it ain't gonna fit. Focus. There we go. So, what I am thinking is we take and put it like this. Keep that closed on an angle here to where it'll point our wires up toward the hole I want to go through, this hole. And the reason I say there is if you're sitting here, all right, you get in the truck or anything like that, you won't really see it at all. It'll kind of be back behind this, and you don't really see that sitting here. So, you know, you'll never really pay attention to that unless you're looking for it. Which the seat isn't all the way back, but I don't think, even with the seat all the way back, you're really going to notice it. Let me see if I can't reach over here and push the seat all the way back. I don't know which way it goes. Forward or backwards. I don't know. I can't get it to move. Anyway, I don't think it will actually be seen mounted right there. There's really no other place to put it. I mean, you might be able to mount it back here behind the ducting for your heat, but it would be a pain to mount it there. I think right here in this corner is perfectly fine. We can put like make a little bracket and zip screw it on there first and then pull them, and I can put some nut certs in through the firewall. And I actually think that comes out in the wheel well. Let's go through around here and look. Well, it'll come out, it should come out right here behind this inner fender brace. So that'll probably be the mounting spot we'll go for. I'll have it approved, of course, because, you know, when I build this stuff, it's not mine. You know, some of it is mine, but some of the stuff I build, it might get annoying to some people that I work for, but I actually keep asking them. Like I asked him, I said, I don't know how you'd want it, but I know how I want it. Do you want me to mount the computer and harness outside? No, absolutely not. Hide it as best you can. Best as I can in there in that corner. The only problem I foresee is that there is 1.5 miles of extra cordage. And I just remembered that there's also a fuse block, which I think I can mount it sideways or even upside down. Probably sideways though. Right here. So for easy access. So it'll be under the dash. You won't see it. I can mount it upside down and still run the wires. Look at that. That's the antenna hole. And it's a big gaping hole. Okay. I just realized I knocked that off. In fact, never mind. I knocked it off. No, because there's not even a radio. Okie dokie. So that don't go to nothing really. It's just flopping in the breeze. But anyway, yeah, I can mount the fuse panel here, computer there, and the harness will run through here, and that's the plug through the firewall. Out here, right there, that I've got to tap into anyway. Well, not tap in, I got to pull the wires out. and pull the temp sensor out of it. Because that's all I need. Maybe that ground. I'm not sure about that ground yet. But I'm going to send him some pictures, see what he says, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm basically just testing where the computer's at right now. Which I'm sitting normal in the seat, you know. Not slouching in it or nothing. Be about perfect with my arm on the door. You can't see it. Alright, but I am 6'1", and I'm fat. So, okay, let's slouch it down a little bit. So, eye level, look down, nothing. Okay, so I'm going to pretty much lay down in the seat now. That's where I'm at, eye level. Lay down, or sit down, can't see it. So basically, unless I'm leaning way back here, you can just see the corner of the mock ECM. And unless you're like laying down in the seat, you can see it. You know, it's just, if you're sitting goofy, you'll be able to see it. If you're sitting normal, holding on for dear life because you're in a La Chupacabra powered LS C10 short base, you're gonna see it. So, you know, that's how it is. So he did not like where I had the computer. He said if you can see any of it sitting in the seat, you don't want it there. Then he said mount it under the seat. Okay, so you'd rather see a giant wiring harness running down the center of your floor? Because you're definitely going to hide it at the doors. So that don't work either. I don't know here. I'm going to have to figure this one out. I'm about to say run it underneath the truck. But then your fuse box is all under there too. So, figure this out here. We're going to move on to something else for sure for now. Let's work on the throttle pedal. That'll be my next step because, yeah, I'm running out of things to do till parts get here. Side note, because I just remembered I wanted to say this. I'm just going to try to get this thing done by the end of next week. So I can get it out of here and I can either pull in what I might be trading for this or the Caprice is coming in and they're going to start getting chopped up. One or the other is going to happen. I know that for sure. If what I'm trying to trade for that comes here, I'm going to dump probably the rest of my saved up cash into there so I can just finish it out, get it done, and get it sold. That's my plan. However, you know what they say about, you know, plans. So let's continue working. So before I started on, you know, going to do the throttle, I was like, let's check on these injectors and stuff. Now these are universal injectors, so you get the adapters. Now, as you can see, I've got them all running through there under the intake because I like to turn my injectors inward to hide the wiring. The problem right now is this one, the bracket is now in the way. But I think once I pull the bracket, clip them on, then put the bracket back on, they'll fit fine. Because I don't want to see this wiring. I want it as gone as much as possible. The fun part's going to be fishing all of this through, making sure it's on the right side, and hooking to the right injectors. Because that's just a nightmare with all this extra crap going down in here. I almost wish I would have laid the harness in there first, then put the intake on. But I'm just going to have to feed it in through the back now. No big deal. I need to get the hoses on the back too before I put those in. So it's just a fight anymore. All this stuff is fighting itself. Getting aggravated with it. Yeah, let's continue on. This fuel pedal seems to be working out pretty good. Where there is a little nipple coming through the wall that holds the insulation, you can see that bolt right there. That is where I have it. Now here's the thing. This pedal, whatever it's off of, was put onto the side. I believe it was on a roll in whatever firewall it was on. So when this is flat, my pedal is a metric mile off to the left. Like really far left right there. And if you actually look at the construction of it, it's built that way. So I'm thinking maybe bend this tab over straight, add another tab straight, and make this pedal straight off the firewall. Because if I just bend this rod to make it straight, it won't function right. So I believe this just needs fixed. I might be able to just cut this weld and cut the weld on the bottom from the factory and sort of shim it up with a piece of steel. But then my top bolt hole will be insane. But it would still probably work. So that's what we're going to do. What I've done is I've cut this bracket free and I've already retacked it, but I wanted it 90 and I pretty much got it straight with that hole, which I won't be able to put a bolt back in that hole. I'll have to find something else to do with that. Well, I might be able to put a bolt back in that hole. But anyway, I tack welded it and then slowly moved it over and used my 90 now. And booyah, eyeballs dead on. A little bit off, but perfect. Perfect enough. So now I can actually weld this the rest of the way to get it halfway decent. And it should be good and straight now, compared to where it was before, which was not at all. So there goes the dope head off of the hill. Okay, I just gotta find some way to hold this now. Booyer. Booyer. Yeah, I'm just welding on the top of my jack, you know, no big deal. But yeah, now just give it a little bit of the metal hot glue gun here. Maybe I won't weld it fully right now, just until I can test it again, and before I put a brace in the side. This side of it needs a brace. Focus. Yeah, but it should be pretty much level. And now it's on there enough to where I can put the plastic bushings back in. I don't even think I have to put the plastic bushings back in. It's a test fit, so we'll see how it fits now. So I'm test fitting this pedal, and I'm trying to figure out pedal placement. I think where I have it is fine. Push it out, it's going to be about right there. As far as the other pedal, it's a little bit up, and that pedal is kicked sideways, so I'll have to adjust it, but I think that's a good spot. It should have plenty of swing on it. But let's ask the owner and find out. While I'm waiting on a reply on the fuel pedal, I'm looking at the fuel filter placement where I would like to put it. I was thinking in the cab, because I have to have two lines running in here and I don't want to drill another hole. So I was thinking if I had the one fuel out come through here where the fuel line goes in, and then the other two returns just right here on a short run, it would work really good. But I see now that that metal fuel line is a real tiny hole, and I'm still not going to get it through there. So either way, I'm going to have to add more holes, which I don't want to do. Best bet would be to bring it in somewhere right here, which I could still do that with the single hole to make it a little bit cleaner, is maybe mount the filter under here. I'm worried about it. No, there's a section here where that line comes. I can run both lines, but I'm worried about still having to drill a big hole in his floor. Less holes, the better. So, you know, and this is not going to be a small hole. This is probably 1/2 inch, if not bigger, size hole. Focus. Yeah, 1/2 inch if not bigger size hole. So I'm just gonna I'm very detail oriented, and it slows me down a lot, possibly because I have a little ADD. But cars keep me super focused, so I get caught up in the details badly. Clearly, I get caught up in the details. But yeah, I have to figure out where I want to put the filter, how I want to run the lines. I'm still waiting on fittings. I got one fitting today, which is my 3/8 quick disconnect. Focus. Yeah, it came today. So that's ready. All we need to do now is we need to figure out where that's going to go. And then we'll have to start, you know, all the rest of the fittings when they get here. But yes, waiting on throttle pedal, trying to figure out where I want the filter. I have to make a giant hole there. It's got to be a 2-inch hole for the grommet on the harness to go into. I asked my buddy last night, this being a 2000 that didn't have electric fans, the computer will not have electric fans on. So he told me pin 33, and you know, I got to add a relay, which it comes with the fan anyway. That is going to be the pin they'll turn on. I'll tell him pin 33 electric fan. It is a ground controlled electric fan. Remember that. So like this harness they sent me, it's got 2 pins in it. Them 2 pins will actually not both go into the computer. It'll only be 1 pin, and then the other one will go to the relay, I believe. Well, yeah, because I'll cut that end off, wire it to that. The ground goes to the relay. The other ground goes to the fan. Well, the other ground goes anywhere, really, and that ground goes anywhere. And then the hot side will go to the other side of the relay. What is this over here? Oh, I can pull this out now. That don't go to nothing. So I got my 72 down here at Potter's on the rack. I wanted to look under it because there's a lot of good stuff I can tell. But this will really let me see what the floor pans are like and the trunk. I know what the trunk's like. It needs replaced a little bit. I'm definitely putting the factory style tank back in it. This has a fuel cell in the trunk. I don't like that at all. But I just wanted to see if they did any more upgrades to it. So who knows what they've done under here. I just wanted to see. I think somebody had the motor and everything out. It might have a small cam in it. But right now, I'm just going to look and see what they have done, if anything else, under the car. So let's start with the bad. Like the only bad it has. Somebody put a fuel cell in it. Put a big Holly setup on it, which it don't need. It's just a 4-barrel 350. It don't sound like they've done anything special to the motor. Maybe a small cam. The floor is rotten right underneath this support, which is no big deal. I can fix that easy schmeezy. They still have the factory tank brackets in here. The floor actually looks like it was perfect before the idiots cut it out. I don't know who did it. They don't know who did it. Okay. But still has the tank mounts right there, both sides. I can just move this stuff like forward and then put a factory tank and stuff back in it. Why they put this big fuel cell and race setup on it, I don't know. This car's way too nice to be doing anything like that with. The floor pans are perfect. I mean, perfect. There's not any holes. Is that all? No, that's a hanger hole. Yeah, that's a hanger hole. The bad, I do not like this exhaust. It is hanging way too low. It's rubbing clearly. I do like the sound of it, but I don't like the exhaust. I somehow need to figure out how to tuck this up higher, which it probably will tuck up. Is it still hot? It's still hot, but yeah, it's got to go up for sure. Transmission looks fine, a little leaky, no big deal. There's usually a seal in there and it leaks, so no biggie. The exhaust is really small for this car. I would really like to put headers on it, but I don't want to go through that pain yet. It is really clean, really, really clean. Now I'm going to start showing you where they put some serious money in this thing. Focus. Edelbrock. Edelbrock. These aren't stickers. Those are actual Edelbrock parts. New springs. New poly bushings. All new. There you go. New poly bushings. New wheelwood brakes. New braided brake lines. Both sides. I mean, somebody's got some serious money in this suspension. The only thing I would do is put tubular control arms on here. Everything else I would leave. What kind of shocks are those? KYB shocks. Evok, or however you say them, springs. Let's go back here to the back. Hey, big dog. But again, Edelbrock, upper and lower control arms. New springs. And those are also, I believe you're saying it right, as Ebok. It's upside down, but new KYB shocks. Rear sway bar. I mean, this thing is set up. This is amazing. They've done something in the diff here. I don't know what. Because they got different bolts on it and everything. So this could be a small posi in here. Check this out. It's all new stuff. All new. Wait, where's the line that goes over? Where's the line that goes over from the brake line? Yeah, look. Braided. I ain't got to touch none of this stuff. Just literally put a fuel tank in it. Rerun all the fuels and it's done. It's ridiculous. I got a killer trade for the 41. Well, I traded it for a Camaro, and I got a Camaro that traded for this, and the Camaro to me wasn't any good. Or let's say if it was too much for me to do, it needed like 20 grand worth of work. But this, oh my God. I love this car. It's upgraded to the point where I don't even have to upgrade it now. I don't even want to put an LS in this. That's how nice it is. Some exhaust work, a fuel tank, and maybe way down the line, some tubular control arms. And this car's perfect. Perfect. Maybe clean and paint the motor again. But it's perfect. I love it. Well, the coils are here, finally. And to show you the difference, which is a major one, these ones are flat. But yeah, I mean, they're quite substantially different. These are just cheap coils, like factory setup. And I also got the plug for the fuel pump. Where's the fuel pump? Oh, it's back here. I keep thinking it's on that shelf. Hopefully this is right. It should be. I ordered it specifically. Yeah, boy. Oh, it's going to be hard to get on there. But anyway, I wanted that for sure to where I can make, you know, sure it's what I needed to wire that up right. So now we can actually put the coils on, do the plugs and wires, and have that done, put the covers on. But I wanted to talk to you guys a second. I've got some news. So, I just got off a very important phone call, and I'm not going to say with who, but let's just say, if this comes through for the travel all, bro, that's a major one. We're definitely going to enjoy that one. But there's still a long way to go, and I'm going to try to get it done as fast as I can, the travel law, you know, not bad fast, but good fast. Anywho, let's jump back on this truck, try to figure out these pedals, and then put these coils on. Which will be no biggie. They just, you know, unbolt, bolt on, clip in. I'm going to rerun the wiring probably up underneath them if I can. to get some more space and then flip that coil harness over. But, you know, it's all about cleanliness, right? You want it to be as clean as that as possible, you know, even though there's going to be a wire coming out of it. But it'll be clean. Yeah, so we're going to jump and do that. So I put this side coil on. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do like a time lapse of the other one. But I actually made a boo-boo and put this wiring harness on backwards. And how I know that is there's this little yellow tag here. Passenger side, that one goes in the rear. Driver's side, it goes in the front. I went and had to check on the Caprice, and I was like, which way did that go? Yeah, so this side's right now, yellow in front. That side's wrong. Just got to flip it over. And if I would have left it like that, it wouldn't have ran. Because it don't, you know, the harness is pinned to which coil is on which plug. So, yeah, I'm glad I caught that ahead of time. So I'm going to reiterate this so you know what I'm talking about here. The coils for these specific valve covers are the 5th gen truck. Now, 5th gen means it's an 09 or newer coil pack. These small little thin, you know, but these actually put out more energy, so they're better. Just make sure you put your harness on right, because I got to do that one again. But now I can bolt this one on, run my wiring, which I run all my wiring behind them like that, behind where it's going to bolt on. So that way it's cleaner and it's not in the way. So when you put the valve cover on, it just slides over everything. It's easier that way. But let's get busy here and put these on. For some reason, them bolts are having a hard time going in, so I'll have to look at that. I gotta figure out what these are. Anyway, they're 12 point, but they're small. They're like 8 mil 12 point. But that's pretty much the valve covers with the coils on. Thankfully, they look amazing. So we'll just figure out what these are and what's stopping it from going in, and then we'll be done with that. And I gotta fix the other side where I put the harness on backwards and put it together, and valve covers will be done. I can start putting plug wires on and spark plugs in. So I am getting ready to gap my plugs. These all go to 40, 44-ish. But you know what you got to do beforehand? You got to toss these things in your mouth and clean them. Something like that. You know, get them all nice and clean. Alright, I've about got this side buttoned up. Let me share a little secret here with you with these valve covers. Probably all the same companies sell all the same things. You know, because you can get these same valve covers without the script for like $289. These are $580. But what you want to do is you're going to have a hard time putting this top cover on. And I'll tell you why. These holes, well, this casting is 2-piece casting. These holes are not exactly lined up with the holes that are on the actual valve cover. Here's what I did. Jeff's probably going to freak out when he watches this, but I took a drill bit that was just a barely 2-bit sizes bigger. So it's not much. It might be a 32nd of an inch, and drilled all these holes out again. It opened it up enough to where you can do it. And again, this ain't nothing but like a dust cover. It's not covering anything that's important. But if you need to put oil or anything in it, you're going to be able to want to take these off easily. So drill out every one of these holes, and then you can put these in with fingers. Before, if you put these 3 in, that one, this one, and this one, you can't get that one in. It don't fit because it's not spaced right. So now all of them in with finger, a little bitty was this 1/4 inch 12 mil, or 1/4 inch 12 point. And that's all it needs. So just a little thing, if you're having a hard time getting these on and freaking out, don't, just drill these out 2 more sizes of bits than what their factory ones are, and you'll be good to go. Well, I was hoping that today the rest of the fittings would come in, but unfortunately they haven't. The only thing that came was this 90. I just slapped her on. So we are still now waiting on a bunch of stuff. I ordered a bulkhead that will go on the fuel sending unit. That'll go up on here for the wiring harness, which I'll probably, I think I can eliminate. No, I can't eliminate that one. I'll have to add it to it. And I also ordered a return that can go in here, which probably won't work. I'll probably have to put it somewhere else on the tank in that corner. But that's going to be pretty much done once I get those. Can't do nothing else for now. I did get my other fitting for my fuel return. I haven't found out where to put it yet, so that's still waiting for me to make up my mind. The valve covers are done now, of course, as you saw. Need to order a air intake, and I'm thinking about getting a 4-inch to a 3-inch elbow, so 4, and it'll elbow to a 3. That'd probably be the easiest way to get it, you know, fast over, which I probably might even go upwards with it and come over here and then down. But I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. No, I don't want it over here because the battery's over here. I like them over here to where they can get any air that comes. Well, there's no air coming through these firewalls. So what really needs to happen on a truck like this is take a big hole saw right here to let air come in. That's what really needs to happen on a truck like this. But that's not my call. So, but we are moving pretty good. The wiring ain't on yet. I'm probably going to have to get different spark plugs because, of course, they are right on top of them headers. I should have looked. Well, I didn't. This kit was cheap. It was $119 for plugs, these plug wires, and them coils. It's cheap because the coils themselves are almost $100. So I basically paid $20 for a set of plug wires and plugs, which plugs are more than $20. So spark plugs, that is, if you're new to this thing. But yeah, I mean, we're close. I need to do pedal. I need to start writing that stuff down. What I need to do, pedal, the fuel pump, fuel filter, wiring harness. I should be able to run after that. Put starter on. Yeah, so I should be able to get this thing done next week as long as all my fittings come. What's up, big cat? You out there whooping on something? I heard you. I heard you whooping on it. But yeah. Oh, by the way, that's my new car. I love it. But everything else on this seems fine. Again, I won't be tuning it because I don't know how. I'm just going to have VATs removed from the computer. It's in the cab. That's what I was looking for. But it's in the cab. Everything else should work, though. Temperature switch and everything will be coming through the factory hole. Yeah. But there's nothing else I can do today. So, just going to call it.